What's going on, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News, and today's guest will be fighting Sandy Cheng at Maverick 21 on November 19th. Pleased today to be joined by Marissa Heckman. Marissa, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Marissa, this is a big fight for you, mainly because this is your pro debut. I know you spent a lot of time in the amateur ranks, finally making this transition to being a pro. Just how excited are you to make your pro debut?
I'm very excited. I put a lot of work into this. I actually made my amateur debut for Maverick in MMA, so it's come full circle for me, but I am very excited. I've put a lot of work into this.
So, from all these years of interviewing fighters, it seems like I've interviewed a few fighters in the past where they would say things like, "Man, I wish I spent just a little bit more time in the amateurs," because the amateur ranks is really the time where you use to learn and to grow and to make mistakes that will help you in the long run. So I have to ask this question now that you're a pro. What did you learn from the amateur ranks that's going to help you and that you're going to carry with you into your pro career now?
I definitely learned how to keep my composure. I learned how to cut weight, how not to cut weight. I learned what happens when you cut it wrong. I learned a lot of things. I learned how to train. I learned, the difference between commuting all the time to different gyms and having a home gym. I went through all of it over the past 5 years, 6 years, and I think it's helped me a lot for my pro debut, this camp in particular.
And now with all of that being said, I know you had mentioned before about all the fights in Maverick. This is actually your fifth fight in the Maverick promotion. So what is it about this promotion that you love and that it keeps bringing you back and you keep booking fights with the promotion?
I think that everyone is just really nice there. They treat the fighters well. I feel like they communicate well, so we all know what's going on, when we have to do what we need to do. And they try to get us for weigh-ins. They try to get us in, get us out, so we can, rehydrate, do whatever we need to do. Nobody wants to be sitting around there for that long. So, and I just think it's a family promotion. And if you have kids, you can bring your kids. You don't have to worry about too much. If anything gets out of hand, they take care of it right away. So that's why I like it.
And I also happen to know that you have a special place in Maverick history. So Maverick, by the way, I have to say is a fantastic promotion, mainly here in the state of Pennsylvania, but it's really a great thing for the Northeast. There's been a lot of fighters that have come down from Jersey and from New York and a few other states as well. A lot of really high-level talent has come out of the Maverick promotion, even saw some fighters make the UFC roster. And with all of that being said, no matter what great talent has come through there or where somebody has went to, you managed the 1 year to get Fight of the Year. So talk about that and what it was like to get that honor and just about that fight a little bit.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite fights because I cut weight horribly wrong and I was suffering. But during that, I learned how to dig deep during that process and ended up getting Fighter of the Year for it. So I learned a lot, but that fight in particular, my memory is of how I cut weight and how I did it wrong.
All right, so you brought this thing up about the weight cut, I believe twice now. So I have to ask the question, what is it about the weight cut that you exactly learn? And obviously, first and foremost, I know weight cutting is a major part of any professional fighter there, but just what is it that you learned that you were doing wrong and now how to do it the correct way?
Well, I just didn't, at the time, I didn't really have the right coaches and guidance on how women cut weight differently than men. I had, people who were saying, well, you all cut the same. So just, water load, do whatever, get in the sauna. No. I cut 5 ounces in an hour in the sauna. It's not good. I was way too heavy, cutting to way too light because my coaches, because I'm short, they wanted me to fight at 115. I wasn't ready for 115 yet. I should have been fighting at 125. And I did later on. I fought at 125 for a couple years until I could fix the damage that I did to myself by cutting from, I don't even know what I was, 145, 150 to 115 in 8 weeks. So, and I always did it. I did it, but it doesn't mean it's smart. And I don't think it's smart. And I think that a lot of people should really pay attention to nutrition and health when it comes to weight cutting, because it's not smart.
Yeah, that there's obviously a lot going on with that, and obviously one of the big things, and it really is true, and I've got to know this from these few years doing the interviews, and it's a great point to make for a lot of any young professional females out there or up and coming females, that cutting weight is indeed a lot different for women than it is for men. So that's a great great teaching point that you brought up there as well. But anyway, I want to get into the X's and O's of this fight now here. So obviously training camp is underway, kind of going to start wrapping things up here soon. Fight night's kind of quickly approaching here. So how's your training camp going?
Going great. I've been training at Finishers predominantly, which is nice because I finally have a home gym. My coaches there are amazing. I just think it's been going exactly the way it's supposed to be going. It's hard, but it's worth it. It's not too far from home, so I'm not commuting as much. And when I do make the commute, it's for my wrestling coach, Jeff Marsh, and it's worth it. So I will make the commute when it's worth it.
And I know obviously we opened up in the beginning talking about how this is your pro debut. Does anything change about training camp from when you were an amateur to now as a pro?
I've always trained like a pro, so nothing has changed like that. The rules have changed, so there's new things to think about. But besides that, nothing has changed. It's the same for me. I always had coaches who taught me that, you need to train like a pro if that's what you want to be one day. So that's one thing that hasn't changed for me. It's all streamlined.
All right, so now let's talk about your opponent a little bit. Just what have you seen out of your opponent? Have you been scouting here now throughout camp?
So I haven't watched too much. My coaches have. So I don't watch my opponents. My coaches will watch, and then they'll tell me, we'll work on the game plan of what they want me to do, and I go from there. Doesn't matter what she's going to do. Mm-hmm. It matters what I'm going to do. So that's all that matters to me.
And with all of that being said, just how do you see this fight playing out?
I see it being a very good fight.
And I'm sure you're envisioning a win there as well. But anyway, I do want to go outside the cage now for just a moment. You were recently married, so just how's married life going?
Great. It's good. It's, I love being married. My husband's great. I have 4 kids now, 4 sons. So it's totally different, but it's great. I love being a mom.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about being a mom as well, too, because that's got to be a hectic schedule, running around with the kids, getting them to school, getting them to a sporting event, got to be here, got to be there, while trying to be a professional athlete as well. I know just being a mom is a very difficult full-time job in itself, never mind all the other stuff that goes into it. Just what's that been like, trying to balance everything between being a now professional athlete and being a mom as well?
It's a lot. I think it's helped with my weight cut because you're never sitting. But my husband, Dave Heckman, is great, and we balance each other out. I do the mornings, he does the nights because I train at night predominantly, and we just go from there. And we've got great kids, so they're good. But life, mom and fighter is definitely tough, but it's worth it.
All right, so now I just got one more thing for you before we wrap things up here today. I have to ask the nickname Poison Ivy. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's unique. It's something that's definitely different that we don't see a lot in the sport. How'd you get that nickname?
So it's interesting because people think I got it because of my red hair, which is one of the reasons why it stuck, but I got it because I am highly allergic to poison ivy. Ooh. And one day I was like, God, this would be like a great fight name. Isn't there like a villain named Poison Ivy? And everyone's like, yeah, she has red hair. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is it. It's deadly. I'm like super allergic to it. So I think it's great. I know you can't see right now, but I have like really long red hair. So I think it fits me.
All right, Marissa, a lot of great stuff here today. Really appreciate all the time. Last thing before you roll out, any social media that you want to plug so people know where to follow you at? If you have any sponsorships or management or anything like that, anybody got to give a shout out to, floor is yours. Take it away.
So my Instagram is Poison Ivy MMA. So that's my Instagram. And then just Finishers MMA and the Mat Club for everything they've been doing for me and all my coaches there that have been helping me out.
All right, Marissa, thanks again so much for all the time. Really appreciate it. Best of luck in the fight. Again, Marissa's fighting on November 19th at Maverick 21. Those fights will be in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. So make sure you go onto Maverick's website or social media pages. You get more information there as well. Also, keep going to MyMMANews.com, checking out all of the great work that we have that comes out. A lot of great stuff for local and regional content like we're seeing here today, right through to the bigger promotions like PFL, Bellator, UFC, you name it. We got it covered at My MMA News, so make sure you guys keep checking that out. And one last thing here, just before I head out, I want to remind everybody, if you like today's interview, make sure to go to the bottom, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. We'll see you later, everybody.